You're listening to Life Check Yourself with life coach, transformational leader, and dating and relationship badass, Marni Batista. Every week, you'll get the raw truth from top experts and real people on the important life and love issues you want to know about. So, if you're ready to life check yourself in your relationships, your career, and the areas of your life that matter most to you, and you're not afraid to be called out on your, stuff, then you're ready for what's next.
Life Check Yourself with Chris Gillis. Subtle red flags you should look for when he's good on paper. Oh, all righty there, Mr. Gillis. Calling in from Alabama.
Birmingham, baby.
Birmingham. I love that. Well, I'm in Portugal, so we're all over the place.
That's right. Holy
That
moly.
is right. I am doing my semester abroad in Portugal. So very excited. And what I did on my 11-hour plane ride here was that I feverishly watched the last, most recent 3 episodes of Love is Blind. There were some moments where I just loved this show so much because people are so outwardly leaking, like they're showing their gaps and their holes. And so I'm going to go by my holy shit moments, my holy shit moments.
Gaps and holes. Love that.
No, definitely not. So I want to talk, the most painful, I think, couple to watch for this round, what is Jackie and Marshall.
Yeah.
Because we've got Jackie who, when we left her in the last set, she's crying in the bathroom and she's like, Marshall teaches me how to be grown. That's what she says to his family. And they get into a big argument because she says, you're not aggressive enough. I don't know, he's not throwing around in the bedroom. And Marshall's sort of like, that's not going to be me, but he gets really upset and they get in this huge fight. And she's like, why are you with me? And he says to her, because you are a project.
Yeah.
A project. And what I love about this is that this guy, Marshall, is saying what so many people think when they're dating someone. And he literally says, you have the potential to be amazing. Yeah. And I thought I could love you into it. And I thought I could show you what it's like. But she's so conflicted because she's just such a brat. And then she's hugging him, and she doesn't want to meet the family. And then she's so grateful to have met the family. Should you ever date someone? Should he be running for the hills? Should he stay in it because she keeps kind of trying to come around?
As soon as I saw her, I don't know, but I said it out loud. I go, uh-oh, this gal. I think I mentioned that you got the gals are she's a lot of fun, she's spunky and she's clever. And remember, calls the other girls frickin' frack. And this girl's a good time. This girl's a good time. She had great stories. She's hilarious. She does have so much potential. She reminds me though, I don't know if you have this archetype though yet of the, you just don't understand girl. The girl, you just don't understand. And my door is closed because you just don't understand. And you can't come in here. It's almost like a special secret, Woody Allen club. No one else is allowed in this. You just don't understand. And I think that there are so many people I know, guys, gals, who eagerly join that club and stay in that club with the door closed, and there gives them some sort of juice and some reasoning for it. But
you mean they don't wait, who doesn't understand? The one who's in pain, the one who's not living up to their potential, would say to everyone else, you don't understand? Or are you saying guys like Marshall date them because you don't understand? She has. Oh, okay.
No, I'm saying the girls or the women, and Jack in this case gives him that Heisman, and he's like, you just don't understand, and you'll never know my pain, and you don't know my family. Right. She goes off about how horrible her family is, and and we know, I'm like, wow, it doesn't. Then you start hearing him. It sounds kind of normal. I'm curious to see how incredibly, terrifyingly Barnum and Bailey, Ringling Brothers Circus they are, but so far it seems pretty normal. But it's weird how people will gleam to their traumas, and it becomes their almost don't fix it. thing. And then Marshall, what does he want to do? It's a project. He wants to fix it. So they're at the standstill. It's just a shame because you
Yeah.
love Marshall. I love Marshall. And now look what he's
I
gotten
love
himself into.
Marshall. I want Marshall to have enough self-worth and self-esteem and enough experience dating to understand like when, and I know that when he said it, he was just like, oh God, I just said what I've been thinking. Holy crap. You know, and he owns it. And he says like, I definitely shouldn't have said that. But I think the takeaway from this is that, you know, show me once. Okay. Show me twice. Okay. Show me the third time. Now you're in it. And it's as much your responsibility as like the other person, because you are now enabling the situation to continue. What's really interesting about this too, is that they have this social gathering and this douchebag guy, Josh, shows up, who's like completely hammered. And I loved this part. He goes up to Marshall and he's like, we good? You know, they're having this like whole, like, you know, like we're brothers, like we good, bro, you know? And then Marshall's like, you know, hey, you know, if she wants you, you want her, you can have her. Like if she chooses you, then for sure, like you can have her. And so I'm just really wondering, I hope that Marshall, dear sweet Marshall, comes around, because I think this girl just needs help. She needs therapy. She needs coaching. She needs to get out of her own way. She can see herself do it. You can see her like being like, oh God, I'm doing this thing. I don't want to do this. And then that's why she just, you can see all her pain. And then she's like, I'm sorry, you know, and she goes to hug him. And it's like this vicious cycle.
It is. It's like that right road, left road decision maker, right? She backs off on it. She's looking down that very well-traveled, muddy, terrible quicksand roads with snakes and all that everything. And she looks at the other road, which is going to be uphill, right? She's got to let go of a lot of demons and she's carrying a lot of shit. What is she going to do? And yeah, that is wild. Do you think that she's struggling with a choice where like, what are you doing, dummy? Go for Marshall screaming, but yet there's still something attractive about that very worn down path.
I will give her,
do you think?
I was going to say, I give her bonus credit. She gets some extra points because she didn't go for Josh. She was sort of like, you know, no, like,
do we know for sure she didn't go for Josh?
Well, we don't know for sure. She just says to me, she said to me when we were talking, she said to him, like, what? We never talked about deep shit when we were in the pods. You were just kind of like, you know, flirting with me. We were having banter, but we never talked about our feelings. And that's why he was attractive to her at first. It was like her usual type. So I don't know. I don't think she has said no yet, but she's not sure.
I love that you brought that up, Marni. Let's real quick touch on and chat about the importance, scariness. There's a lot of people who don't like to talk about their feelings when they're dating, and a lot of people who could keep it fun and light. And she was ready to. I mean, they didn't quite get there, and that is. Joe was telling the guy I'm with right now about how people from the Midwest, man, they will not cry, and neither of them cried, and therefore. He doesn't know. Josh knows little to nothing about her, except that she's a good time. Same thing with Josh. He's a good time. And now she's going out with Marshall. Oh, there's real shit to talk about. It's, like I said, uphill. This is hard. That's why that good time, that easy road looks so familiar. So what do you have to say to the gals out there, listeners out there who are like, yeah, you know what? I kind of do keep it light and fun. And I just kind of date around. And when it gets heavy or big, I eject myself. Because I know a lot of gals who've been with people for multiple years, and they still, and I've dated them, and I go, wait, you guys never talked about that? No, you dated him for 4 years. You never talked about that? I figured out in a month. No, we didn't talk about that stuff. We had a light and fun relationship. What are your thoughts on the light and fun relationships? And
I think because I think like part of being in a committed relationship is learning how to have challenging conversations. And I think that if you feel like you have to be a certain way to keep it going, right? Like that you don't want to bring up something that you really care about, or you don't want to ask for what you need, or you're trying to be so low maintenance and keep it low and keep it fun.
I like that.
You know, if you're constantly making up stories or telling your man, I don't want to rock the boat, then it's you're hiding a part of yourself, right? And if you're hiding a part of yourself, then you feel disconnected. You feel like it's on the outside isn't matching up what's on the inside. And then that's really creates a lot of internal friction. And it's really detrimental to, your evolution, because you're just kind of settling for the surface.
I love Marni. It's almost like, it's like, and then you're setting yourself up. You're one of those people who doesn't go and talk about the actual heavier, deeper things. It's almost like when the good times, the music stops, good times stops, you don't really have anywhere. And then also when the storm weathers, you haven't grown any roots to really dig yourself in there. And the relationship, it tends to kind of fall over and collapse. And then you're angry at the person because you're like, fuck, he doesn't even understand me. How does he not get this? Chakra doesn't get it because you didn't pave the road, or you didn't stand on that that road where you're talking about vulnerable things as well. But if you're both standing, it is normal, right, to be scared. Being vulnerable is scary, but if neither of you do it, eventually.
Well, it is. And what's really interesting about a lot of these couples is they talked about, some of them had the like deep feeling conversations. Like, let me tell you about my mom, she died. And, my brother got killed, and like all this like deep story, right?
Okay.
And then you see them like in the kitchen, and like, so are you a spender or a saver? How many kids do you want? Literally, Chelsea and Kwame, like, wait, you want to live in Portland? I'm so confused. This was a dating show with all these people from Seattle.
Right.
Like, like Chelsea says to Kwame, like, do you want to settle down? What kind of life do you want to have? And that's what's really interesting. And I think that ladies need to really pay attention to this. Sometimes we mistake the telling of our sad story as like vulnerability or like a connection. Like, I really felt connected. And it can be, or it can just be some like trauma bonding, or it can be empathy, or it can be, wow, I've never really heard a guy talk about like anything where he was emotional, right? And then, oh my God, I like him. It's just the same thing as like, your mom likes that song, so does mine, and then you skip all the like, do we have the same values? Do we want the same things? Do we both want to have kids? Do we want to travel? Do we want to get married? Like, what's your lifestyle? So let's just shift and talk about Kwame and Chelsea, because I'm just literally like, what the actual fuck?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this ties into it to say it's, I think oftentimes when we do something scary, we're like, I'm done with the scary part. And there's multiple scary parts, unfortunately. Yes, there's your trauma, there's your past, and then there's the scary part like, hey, are we going to live together? Are you going to move? Whatever. And then the actual logistics. So I love that. You're bringing it up, that just because you're being vulnerable, you're like, okay, I guess I'm all done with that. And then like with Kwame and Chelsea, now here we are. They haven't figured out that scary talk. So unfortunately, people, there's more than just one category of being vulnerable and putting yourself out there to potentially get rejected and saying, nah, I like Portland. I don't want to make that hour and a half drive every week.
Well, yeah. And that's what's so crazy is like, and this is why it's so important when you're dating, like the connection is really important. But I always say like chemistry is necessary, but not sufficient. Love is necessary, but not sufficient. So maybe Kwame's still got a thing for Micah. I don't know. Maybe if it were like Micah that he was going to move to Seattle for, he'd be all about it. I don't know. But like, I think he's sort of like, and this is what I wanted to ask you actually, because I was like, what does Chris think about this? Because he does say to Chelsea, I'm willing to compromise. Like, I really do like my life in Portland, but I'm willing to compromise. I'll move. And then she's like, okay, well, we have this dog. I want to have babies in 2 to 3 years. And he's like, well, I kind of just have this vision of traveling. And she's like, well, we could do that. And then she's like, I need you to, and then he said, well, I feel like I have to compromise. And she says, well, welcome to relationships. And then I love, he said, well, I just want you to understand where I am sitting. I feel like I'm the only one compromising. And I think he's kind of right. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, and I sounds like you're becoming Kwame. I think Kwame I love the way he communicates. And yes, he does some things that like Emily has not forgiven. She's still angry she's Chelsea's forgiven. Emily is still pissed off and angry at him. It's wild. Like everything he said, she's still mad. I'm like, whoa, that was beautiful. I still can't forgive him. She hasn't let it go yet, which maybe for good reason. We'll find out. But I just want to point out,
by the way, if you don't know what we're talking about, because Kwame flirted with an ex and didn't shut it down. And so Dr. Emily is mad about that. Yeah.
And then the ex came back and recircled again recently, as you saw. And then he's nibbling on the fucking hook again like a dummy. So that I think that is a red flag. But I'm wondering if Kwame, that Chelsea's just not his girl for him to shut down some of the dumb, bad relationship killer stuff that he is doing on there. So I'm glad that you're starting to be like, oh, or that you don't think he's a piece of crap and you think he does have some potential.
I mean, I think a couple things. I think that, so this is another really interesting thing to me. Chelsea isn't saying like, I want to have babies next year. She's saying like in 2 to 3 years. And he's saying, from what I observed, well, that's still too soon for me. And I think she's like 30 something, and maybe is he 30 something also?
Maybe. Young 30.
She said from the beginning, like, I want to have a family, like all these sorts of things. And so I think like, I would say that if Chelsea could have a family like in a year, she probably would, but she's sort of reading him and being like 2 to 3 years, and we could still travel. And as I was watching this, while I was sitting there watching this, and there was a family next to me in the airplane, and they had like 2 kids under 2. And both the babies were like, in the little snugglies and drinking and crying. And like, they were trying to get their stuff. And I'm watching this, and Chelsea's like, oh, it's easy when they're babies. They just sleep, we'll just travel around the world. And I was like, honey,
I got a thought. Yeah. And an answer for you on there. I think that, it's not unreasonable for either of them. I think it's great that she's having that conversation. What we're seeing here is, that's kind of why I said, well, he might, you alluded to it. He might move quicker for what's her name? Micah. He might, be exactly. I'm thinking that he is still feeling this isn't fair. Okay. This is what I said about Chelsea, and from the get-go, it's like, she is intense. She is just drive that wagon through, and you can tell she doesn't let a lot of stuff get in her way. And I think what she's lacking, and what she's not doing, is taking a beat and pausing and really acknowledging his, for example, potential life move, leaving all of his friends and his career, which is, I know he works remotely, but is really giving him the gratitude and the satisfaction, made him a nice steak dinner and giving him whatever he wants, to let him feel that before she asks again. She's becoming an asshole, and she's going after it again. I think he's like, whoa, this can be a little bit scary. Slow down there, woman, because I feel like I said, she's a lot, and she's intense, lasering into him. It's scary as a guy.
It is. And also he said another thing, I have to compromise. Like, he's got a remote job, and his like got a little bit of a more chill, it seems, job. And so he said, I don't mind, like, she goes to work. I don't mind being the one to walk the dog 3 times. I don't mind being the one to make dinner. So I have to say, I have some, like, I do get it. He's like, I'm going to move for you. I got a dog, which is like a lot. And now I'm taking the primary caregiver of this pet. Now you're asking me to kind of also be house husband a little bit. Like,
right. I'm already walking the dog 3 times a day.
Yeah, like, it's a lot, right? And I think you're right. I think she's not really saying like, well, what do I need to compromise on? What do you want? What makes you feel great? Like, and that's the thing. She's not pausing and saying, well, what do you want? Like, so for Kwame,
that's why she can't entertain that conversation. He can't entertain it yet. He's not done. He's not okay with it. And she's already throwing him another potential big thing. And it's kind of icky. It's kind of scary. Like, well, she's not seeing him. She's not valuing him. She's not seeing him and really appreciating him. And one thing I can tell by Kwame, he's very sensitive. And I think that's, a superpower, and it's going to be tough as well on the relationship. He's a sweet talker. He likes to tell people what they want to hear. And she's like, I'm telling you, I'm directly just telling you, you're moving up here. You're walking my dog. You're having 5 babies with me. He's like, God, wait a second. Yeah. And I think that's a little off-putting to him.
It's a little much, and also Kwame keeps saying that's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Yes,
and I think that one of the things that's really important is that we have reciprocal relationships, and people get really pissed when they're not reciprocal. However, if you don't ever say like, actually, that's not okay with me, it's not enough that you're watching the dog's ass. I appreciate that you're watching the dog's ass, but like, honestly, I didn't need to come to the dog washing. Like, I'm going to go run or work out or play Xbox or whatever. So I think there's a couple of things. I don't know if Kwame's really ready to give up X-Boy life, Xbox life. And also, I don't know if Chelsea's worth it. And also, I just don't know if he's good at getting his own needs met. And so she's kind of walking all over him, and it's a turn up. Okay, let's talk about.
That's a lot to ask, by the way, for a guy.
It is, right?
A lot for a guy. I mean, Jesus, just like asking for your need, all those things. That's let go of your Xbox. Like, you could change all these things. But the truth of the matter is, he did sign up for a goddamn show based in out of Seattle, and he's in. So I'm sure the genius producers knew that, saw that coming, and they said, "Oh, he's not good for asking for things." That's what she's going to ask him to move up here. So that is kind of genius, and I'm glad that they did that. So we can talk about it. I love that you caught all that.
So I had one red flag. I mean, one like subtle red flag about Kwame.
What?
Can you guess what it is? It was subtle. Like, it was never talked about. It was just like, it was in passing.
Professional soccer player, professional athlete.
No, the fact that he never sleeps in his bed and he falls asleep on the couch.
Oh, that is not you. That's a crazy. You can forgive him for all these other his messy house and his randomness that he has, but
that's gross. But that I was like, that means you either. You play Xbox till you pass out at like 2 or 3 in the morning on your couch, and then you wake up, and then you have your clothes on the floor. I
love ladies. If you've ever dated a guy who sleeps on the couch and you have some relationship history, write it in the comments. I'm truly curious, because that is, and I bet you there is something there, and I bet you there's some commonality. I would love to see, what that says about their nesting. Our lack of nesting. If you can't even nest in your goddamn house, what is going on in here?
Yeah, that's so weird. He's like, I rarely sleep in my bed.
I saw it.
Yeah, that was weird to me. Okay, let's talk about Micah and Paul. So I have to say, Micah, I like the fact that Micah blows Arena off and says, like, you're not a good friend, like, you're hitting on my guy. But my giant Micah red flag is, and you and I have talked about this, is like who you hang out with. So basically, she had this weird friendship with Arena where she like bosses around and tells Arena what to do. And then we meet her friend who totally basically she's like, I'll do whatever, whatever Susie wants. And I'm like, so red flag, if I was dating her, I'd be like, why, if I was Paul, why does she have these really weird and nasty friends?
Yeah. And the friends that need to be nasty too. Remember, they felt the need to test Paul. So gals, if you have friends, you don't need to, that's not their job. You don't outsource the qualifying of the guy you're dating. We have to protect him because why? What's wrong with? What are you saying about what does that say about you? That your friends think they have to protect you, and then they're bitchy to him and mean to him, and thank God he's a little bit not plugged in. He's so direct and honest. Like, I don't care what they think. I'm not dating.
She's like, you should.
You should. Whoa, that was.
That girl was downright mean to Paul. So to me, like, what is going on with Micah that she hangs out with mean girls? Yeah. I mean, that was to me.
She's stuck in like 13th grade where that's, that whatever mean girls thing where they're like all taking turns getting off on it. You could just tell going back to their hometown, it was not very mature and emotionally
it was so
graduated.
Weird. Yeah. And so I think Paul should be very, very concerned. And they sort of left that storyline hanging. So we don't really know what happens, but
she's clueless, by the way. She doesn't say anything. How did you feel about how she's grilling Paul about you didn't say anything to Irene. You better not have flirted with her. And he's like, no, babe. He's apologized. Another red flag when your partner comes out of nowhere. Emily and I were talking about this, comes out of nowhere and accusing you of things. And you're like, what? No, that's a red flag because they're probably top of mind for another reason. Because meanwhile, I can't wait for him to see the footage when they get together in a reunion and see her, making it yet another pass at Kwame. Just setting him up. And of course, he dives right in and
Yeah. I mean, she just is really insecure. So she's like, do you like me? Do you like me?
Clever. Oh yeah. You still like me?
Yeah. Like she still goes, you were my number one. I'm like, honey, if he was your number one, why didn't you pick him? Okay. We have to talk about Zach and Bliss. Chloe Batista does not like Zach. She's like, he's so creepy. I'm like, I don't know. Oh, no. I think he's kind of quirky. And weird, but I like him. Yeah. So we see him sort of like go on a bunch of dates with Bliss. And then the producers must have said, hey, do you want to get in? You know, it's like a bet. You know, we got 2 more weeks till the clock's, till game time. You can still get a bet in. And he's like, I'll play. Give me a ring and apartment. Let's go. Totally. And they have like 2 weeks or 12 days till the wedding. So do you think that Bliss is like silly for accepting his proposal? Do you think that he's a bad guy because he picked Arena? Like, what do you think? This is weird. This is very untypical Chris Gillis. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm cheering for him. I'm hoping for them. They have a purity and they are quirky. I don't think creepy. I think, and you can see some of her, you see, especially by the way she's dressed on that boat, like she's from the 1920s flapper outfit, and he's doing his thing where his outfit doesn't quite make sense. And neither does it proposing to somebody doesn't quite make sense, but they just have this grace for each other's oddness, and they seem to just kind of connect and accept each other. And I don't know, I'm cheering for him. I am too. I love it. Literally, when they showed them like walking into the apartment on my little plane, I was like, "Yay!" I said it out loud. I want them to be happy. Now the thing is, I think they were like eating takeout food in the apartment, and she's like, I'm still kind of mad at you. Like, you know, she has to do a dig about Arena. I think she's going to have to get over that because that's going to be really annoying for the rest of his life to be like, I'm sorry. It almost reminds me, and I don't want this to be true, but like Cole could never in last season, Cole and oh God, what was his really name? Zeneb, your favorite girl. Yeah. He could never apologize. He could never actually get out of it. And she never forgave him. And it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. No, Bliss is a sweetheart. Okay, good. She proposed to him, babe. We are good. I will be eating crow if she turns out to be another Arena. I do not. I think she's a total sweetheart. She's a babe. She makes him cupcakes. I think she's beautiful. I can't figure out why she was single. I think she's rad. Yeah. I'm going to be so crestfallen if that's true. And by the way, I'm curious. You're Gen Zer. Why does everybody hate? Explain to us, Chloe Batista's out there of the world. What is it? What is this creepy push him away versus just a little quirky, little fun? It's over my pay grade. I don't get that. I can't figure it out either. Great. I think he's cute. I think he's honest. I think he really, really, really is ready to find a partner. Yeah. I liked that he was honest and he was like, oh shit, you know, I just moved to Seattle. I'm starting my own law firm. Now I'm like living with someone. Like that's a lot. Yeah. You know, so maybe it's not the right time. We'll have to see if he can hold it all together. But I was so at first, as soon as like, oh God, he's gonna propose. Don't propose. It's not the right timing. I was starting to get that the ick, as they say on Love Island. But then he started talking, and he was so in his element, in his zone. And he flipped me. I'm cheering for Mike. And now, you know what? That I think there was this. It wasn't awkward anymore because she could tell, even though she was trying to be a little tough, you know, badass. I could see that there was a connection. He was so passionate. I was cheering for his passion. Is his timing sometimes a little bit weird? Yes. I love that it seems so honest and sincere. And I love that proposal. All the weirdness about it, it worked for me. It was great. And she's like, no, I don't think you make too much eye contact, you know? And he's like, right? They're like looking at each other and he's like kissing her and being like all cute. I thought I'm a
Fumbling up,
fan.
messing up, burning, ruining the steak and everything, and she just lets it go. And I love that. And he tries his effort. She cares more about the effort than the execution. Kind of what we were talking about last week.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Okay, so the last couple we're going to talk about quickly. Really, there's nothing to talk about. They're adorable. I love them. Brett and Tiffany. I love that she's like, I'm really scared. This is kind of crazy. And oh my God, when she took him to meet her friends and they were like, oh, tell us what you like about Tiffany. And he kind of looks over and he just is like, she's this and she's that. And they're like, yeah, she is. And he just like looks at her like, wow, I just won the wifey lottery. I just, it feels so sincere. I can't, but this is what's so funny. I have Love is Blind PTSD.
Yeah.
Because I loved Shane and Natalie, right? Like 2 seasons ago. And I was like, there is no way this is going awry. Like Shane and Natalie, I couldn't imagine them breaking up.
They were like happy on his baseball night. Baseball night, it all came down.
I know, which is so dumb.
She's got those vibes. She's got those same vibes. I think she is gonna, if something's too good to be true, she's gonna screw it up. That's my prediction. Emily disagrees, but I have a bad prediction, babe. She's toward my bottom. I think she is going to drive the car. I already see her taking the steering wheel, kind of trying to jam it. And he keeps pulling it back. He's so stable. I think she needs a little bit of craziness, or she has some of that I don't deserve to be here ness going on here. And that is that's my pink flag. That's my unfortunate prediction.
So I did get trauma. I get a PTSD, I was like, oh God, don't leave Brett at the altar. Like Natalie left Shane at the altar.
Yeah.
However, then I remembered, Alexa and Brendan,
Brennan,
who were like smooth sailing, no storyline, totally boring, made it to the altar still together. So I'm going to put my money still on Brett and Tiffany making it to the end.
Okay. So you're saying she may be a little sailboat and get rocked by the waves, but he's so big, as is Alexis, is so strong and stable that he'll be able to climb, or at least anchor his boat, and they'll even get a little water, hop in, hop off, and they'll be okay to weather any relationship.
Yeah, because even when she went to his house and she was like, oh, there's a lot of shoes here. Where would I put my stuff? And he was like, totally got you. We could move to like a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment in the same building. And she was like, she said, I could totally see myself here. It wasn't like Kwame, who's like, or Micah, who was like, see herself in Paul's apartment and was like, no, this isn't nice enough for me.
But I'm thinking she's digging for red flags. She's looking for, or at least pink flags. She was looking for yellow flags to be nervous about. Remember, she was picking, like, oh God. So I should be scared because you spend so much money. Clearly the man knows what he's doing. He's an SVP at Nike. A guy's so talented. Look at his place. This isn't some, gambling money that he bought this all off of. He's got his stuff together, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe they're showing us the edit. I feel like she's looking for reasons why he's going to be too good to be true. And if you're picking up at something, eventually, if you keep it in the same spot, you're going to bore a hole through there like Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption. You'll get through that wall. I don't want to see that happen.
So funny. Well, I like the way Brett just holds his own. He's like, I bought an expensive suitcase. And she's like, Brett, whatever, $2,000. And he's like, no, like it'll last. Like that's my value. Like I'm good. I can pay for it. No, we're not hearing him say, I'm $50,000 in debt. Right. I mean, we're not getting all the data, but I'm excited for Friday, which by the time this airs, it will have just come out. So we've got a few more episodes and I'm super, super excited. I think that there's going to be trouble in the future. I know they put a lot of teasers out there with our questionable couples, Paul and Micah, Kwame and Chelsea, and of course Jackie and Marshall seem to just be all over the place. But we'll have to see. Any last thoughts about Love is Blind?
I'm doing a little road trip. My buddy said, love isn't blind. He goes, actually, it could be if they did a dating show where everybody was legally blind, then that would be a good Love is Blind. We would see how it would really turn out. It'd be a completely different show.
It wouldn't matter, would it? I love that. Well, make sure you come back where we will do a deep dive on the rest of Love is Blind. Make sure you go check out consultantchris.com so you can see what Mr. Chris Gillis is up to when he's not in Alabama, helping men get their style and win at love. Make sure you subscribe. Watch this on YouTube. You can see what Chris is wearing right now. See, just a little teaser. I was so sexist. And also, of course, you can follow us on TikTok at Marni Batista and Instagram Dating with Dignity. We love you. Subscribe, share with a friend, and whatever you do, don't forget, life check yourself. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for tuning into today's show. So if being in an intimate relationship in which you feel 100% seen, heard, and accepted by a high caliber man is a priority for you right now, and you're interested in seeing if you're a fit for working with me and my team at Dating with Dignity, here's what I want you to do. Just head over to DWD VIP, that's D as in dating, W, D as in dating, VIP.com, and book a call to speak with my team. We'll get on the phone with you for about 60 minutes, and you'll get crystal clear on what's stopping you from finding true love right now. We'll also take a look at what you want to create, what you want your whole life to look like when you're able to finally be fully expressed as a woman in a healthy relationship with an incredible guy. And if we can help you get from where you are right now to where you want to be, we will show you the fastest path possible that makes sense for you to do that. We help smart, successful women all over the world solve this one missing piece in their life so they can finally have it all. So to see if we can help you do the same thing, head over to DWDVIP.com. I'm Marni Batista, and let's talk soon.